every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Martins Dixon. In our major story, Army launches investigation into recent rampage by soldiers in Lagos. Also in this program, President Goodluck Jonathan assures Pakistani education activist Malala Yousafzai that all abducted Chibok schoolgirls will return home safe. Ekiti State Resident Electoral Commissioner Halilu Pai replies APC expresses readiness of INEC to defend the June 21 governorship election at the tribunal. And outside Nigeria, Israel suspends ground assault on Gaza as the war again urges restraint on attacks of civilian populace.
Tonight in business news, $300 million diaspora bond set to debut before the end of the year attracts investors.
And on sports tonight, Germans continue to celebrate their 4th World Cup win, aftermath victory over Argentina.
And now the details. The Army authorities have launched an investigation into the recent rampage in Lagos by soldiers. Chief of Army Staff Kenneth Minima disclosed these in a chat with journalists in Abuja. Witnesses had reported seeing soldiers vandalize buses after one of their colleagues was knocked down by a high-capacity bus, but the Army chief insisted that preliminary information showed that no soldier was involved.
I charge all commanders to put measures in place to check acts of indiscipline and misconduct by personnel under their command. The image of Nigerian Army must and always be protected. Perhaps I may digress a little as to the Lagos issue or incident that was almost alluded to the Nigerian Army. This is wrong. What happened, happened. A soldier was killed by a BRT vehicle, and the soldier and the BRT bus were removed. The late soldier, hoodlums, vandals, and hooligans took over and burnt down government property. It is not the Nigerian Army that did that.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff is seeking more public support for the war against insurgency. He also wants Nigerians to be patient with soldiers at the front lines because the war is not a conventional one. Minima made this known at a news conference to commemorate the 3rd quarter conference of the Chief of Army Staff in Abuja. Pai Samuel reports.
The war against insurgency has been on for a while now in Nigeria, with no end in sight. But the Chief of Army Staff says the Army under his watch is committed to checking the activities of the insurgents.
My focus has been primarily on tackling the insurgency as raised by the Boko Haram terrorist group in the northeastern part of the country, and other security challenges in the north central and the northwest, which we have conclusively brought to stability.
Recently, Nigerians have questioned the integrity of the army as they combat insurgency in the country. But the army chief insisted the soldiers are committed to the task at hand.
As you are all aware, our nation is today faced with enormous security challenges. The upsurge in incidents of terrorism has shifted the focus of the general public to the armed forces, and particularly the Nigerian Army. Our activities are increasingly coming under public scrutiny, while a lot of patriotic Nigerians, and particularly the ordinary Nigerians, have continued to support the Nigerian Army. Others have used the opportunity, and somehow a very small section of the press, to cast aspersions on our competence, integrity, and ability to rise up to this occasion.
On the security situation in the northeast, the army is convinced that the region will soon be stable.
I know the expectation of the Nigerian citizen is that this thing should have been over by yesterday. But the reality is that it wouldn't have been over by yesterday because of the structure and the dynamics of fighting this type of terrorism. Now we are fighting Nigerian citizens. We're not fighting foreigners. So caution must be exercised. And I appeal that we will certainly surmount it.
As troops continue to chart new ways of containing terrorism, the army authorities want Nigerians to continue to exercise patience. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
President Goodluck Jonathan has assured Pakistani education activist Malala Yousafzai that all abducted Chibok girls will be returned safe. She disclosed this to State House correspondents after her meeting with the president in Abuja. The global icon also revealed that President Jonathan will soon meet with parents of girls who are still in captivity. The report.
Malala has dedicated this year's Malala Day celebration to education. She said this is in solidarity with the abducted schoolgirls who have been denied access to education for over 90 days. The activist maintained that funds used in purchasing instruments of wars will make the world a better place if channeled towards education. She also provided an insight into her interaction with President Jonathan.
He promised that the government will choose the best option to bring back girls alive and safe. And the second promise he made, which is very important, is that he will meet the parents of those girls who are abducted. And I'm hopeful that he will fulfill it. I'm hopeful that the president will meet you soon because he made this promise to you, to me and to you and to all Nigerian people.
Boko Haram is still holding the Chibok schoolgirls hostage, but Malala is bold to call for their immediate release.
But today not only I'm asking the president and the government of Nigeria to take action, but I'm also asking Boko Haram. I ask Boko Haram to stop misusing the name of Islam. And I want to tell Boko Haram that think about your own sisters. Just think for a while. Think about your own sisters.
She called on countries of the world to say no to war and do more to protect the rights of millions of girls across the world. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
After the meeting with President Jonathan, Malala hosted representatives of the civil society and government officials at a function to mark the Malala Day. She used the opportunity to push for girl-child education and reinforced her call for Boko Haram to free the abducted girls. Pius Samuel again completes the story.
She's only 17, but has just had a closed-door session with President Jonathan. Malala's meeting with the president did not go beyond 1 hour, but for the Pakistani activist, it was enough to extract so much commitment.
That the promise I make is to make sure that these girls are released as soon as possible. There are some difficulties which he mentioned, such as that it's quite difficult to do a military operation as these girls can be targeted. There is an idea of swapping, but there are it's quite complicated situation to understand. As far as I know, I think that the government would be able to do it as soon as possible. And it depends on the government because the government is responsible to people. It is people who elected Mr. Goodluck Jonathan as their president, and people believe that he is the father of their nation. So he should be responsible for the duties that has been given to him on the seat on which he is sitting.
A presidency statesman indicates that Jonathan explained at the meeting that the delay in getting the girls back is as a result of safety consideration. Malala and her team confirmed this and revealed that parents of the Chibok girls will soon have an audience with the president.
The president did make promises, and the president said that he feels that these girls are his daughters. And he said that he can understand what would be suffering, how would they be feeling there, because he has his own daughters and he knows what the situation is. And he was really expressing his solidarity with those girls and expressing his feeling of sadness. But as far as actions are concerned, he said right from the beginning, we have been doing our best, but still, as far as I have heard from him, he said that Boko Haram is heavily equipped and they have a lot of weapons. They're really strong in their strategic policy.
In education in Nigeria, Malala Foundation was critical of government spending of 1.5% of annual budget on the sector. But presidential spokesman Ruben Abati said no government has spent more on education in Nigeria than the Jonathan administration.
I think the percentage is more than what has been quoted, and in terms of what has been provided, infrastructure, expansion of access to education, this administration has proven to be really committed to education both at the basic level and also at the tertiary level. I just thought I should make that clarification.
The presidency also noted that as a sign of seriousness, it has lined up measures that will benefit the abducted girls when they are safely rescued, as well as others that have been adversely affected by the Boko Haram insurgency.
The National Emergency Management Agency wants Nigerians to desist from crowding bomb scenes. This, according to the agency, is to prevent further loss of lives from bomb attacks. NEMA Director General Muhammad Sidi says experience has shown that most bomb victims are either killed or maimed by subsequent explosions. He was speaking at a meeting called to review emergency response to the recent bombings in Abuja.
Crowd control has always been an issue in managing, in responding. From the experience that we've had in the agency, most of the victims of bomb blast, come from secondary attack. People who go to watch what happened. So we try as much as possible to enlighten the public that do not rush into the scene of an accident. Instead, you clear away from the scene and then inform security agencies.
The All Progressives Congress has finally decided to challenge the conduct of the recent concluded governorship election in Ekiti. The decision has expectedly rubbishes the earlier position of Governor Kaide Fahimi on the issue, following his acceptance of defeat and congratulations of the winner, Ayo Faishe. Rashid tells us more.
The respondents in the petition are the declared winner, People's Democratic Party, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the Inspector General of Police, and the Chief of Defense Staff. Addressing journalists in Ado Ekiti, the All Progressive Congress interim chairman in the state, Gideawe, said the party went to tribunal so as to save the nation from the new scientific election rigging that was experimented in the June 21st Ekiti governorship election.
Our party, the APC, has earlier signaled that we are going to unravel some secrecies surrounding the fiasco of 21st of June. That is the defeat of our party in the gubernatorial election in Ekiti State. And again, the process of election itself has a lot to be doubted, and that was exactly what moved us to say we want to question.
Gideawe added that Governor Kaide Fahimi conceded defeat and congratulated the declared winner of the election for peace to reign in the state.
The governor, as a governor, does not own the party. It is the party that features the governor. And we are not only taking that decision, it was the decision of the apex body of APC as a political party, that we must challenge some of these gray areas we have discovered in the election. So the statement of the governor, either congratulating the so-called elect or not, he acted as a statesman, as the helmsman of this state till October 15. He is still the governor. And he has the right to protect, and he has the right to do what is right to the largest percentage of Ekiti people. That's exactly what he has done. It is part of his constitutional duty.
The Ekiti governorship election has been widely acclaimed as free and fair, but the petition filed in by the All Progressives Congress will seek to unravel the concerns of all parties involved. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
In a related issue, the resident electoral commissioner, Ekiti State, Hali Lupai, has expressed readiness of the Independent National Electoral Commission to defend the June 21 governorship election at the tribunal. This follows the submission by the All Progressives Congress of a petition challenging the results of the election won by the People's Democratic Party's candidate, Ayo Fayeshe, before the Ekiti governorship election petition tribunal sitting in Ado Ekiti. INEC declared Fayeshe winner of the election ahead of the incumbent governor and APC candidate Kayode Fayemi after polling 203,090 votes to 120,433. The APC had alleged that the election was manipulated using federal might in favor of the PDP. Pai explains that the election petition filed by the APC was in line with the dictates of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. He added that any aggrieved party or candidate who wishes to challenge the outcome is equally free to do so within the ambit of the same enabling instrument. An association of students in Osun, a RAWO group comprising all tertiary institutions across the state, has declared support for the PDP's governorship candidate at the August 9 governorship election, Iola Emishore. The group says Emishore is the right man to rescue the state from what it claimed is the repressive regime of the current administration. Frank Omalape has details.
You could mistake them for protesters, but these members of the RAWO group say they believe that Iola Emishore is a change that Osun needs in the coming election.
We feel like this is Joseph Johnson to come out because we can't refuse to die in silence. People don't eat, civil servants are suffering, our children cannot go to school very well. Social institutions in Osun have been closed down ever since. We don't have a meaningful government in the state to bring on this, and that is why we have gathered ourselves a representative from each of our section across the state to come here this morning to officially declare support for the people's man in person of Otumba Iola Emishore.
They, however, deny links with any political party but insisted that their campaign is towards ensuring good governance for the people of Osun State.
We are students. We don't belong to any political system. We don't belong to APC. We don't belong to to PDP. But we are here today. We are here this morning in order to what? To declare our unalloyed support to the right man.
Some have criticized politicians for raising the hope of the electorates while canvassing for votes. The group's strong belief in the candidature of Emishore was explained by some of its members.
Change is what our group is clamoring for, and the person we believe can bring up this change at the right time is this tested man, because he has been a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he has been one-time deputy governor of Osun State, and all these outstanding experiences he had when he served, and we believe in him. We want to rest our hope and our trust this time around. This time we entrust him also, whether he's going to fail us, whether he's going to what, whether he's going to bastardize the system as well. We are what? We are students. We have every right to declare our right.
The students say they want more attention given to the education sector.
We want quality education, and as youth, there are a lot of things we need. Like we need employment, and again, I think it's the man that can give us that.
The August 9 governorship election in Osun State is beginning to raise agitations for change in sectors where residents expect more, as it is the case with our group. Frank Omalape, CoreTV News, Ilefe.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News live from Lagos. Is the Murtala Nyako's coffin about to be nailed in Adamawa State? Find out the answer to these and other stories when we return from this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. It's good to know you're still there. The 7-man panel investigating allegations of gross financial misconduct against Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy Bala Ngilari submitted its report to the State House of Assembly. The report was received by the Speaker of the House, Amadou Umaru Fintiri, in his office. We'll bring you details much later. Reactions have continued to trail the impeachment saga surrounding the Adamawa State Governor, Murtala Nyako, and his deputy, Bala Ngilari. A senior lecturer at the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Adebayo Akani, says the issue should not be handled with any sentiments, while justice must be allowed to prevail.
It's not a matter of either one party begging for him or another one. This is the problem we have in this country. So if in every state people will beg for forgiveness for everything, then people will do things with impunity, all sorts of things. Anybody will do anything and will go away with it. How many of the former governors have been jailed by EFCC despite prosecutions? Even the ones that have been prosecuted. Now they are begging for forgiveness for this one. So I put it to Nigerians, to INEC of that time, that Nyako did not win that election. If he actually won that election, then the people of that state, as expressed through the constitution, are saying he must face the music.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says tree planting initiative is a strategic intervention at ensuring healthy living of residents. Fashola made the disclosure at this year's tree planting exercise in a Tiosa local government area of the state. Abiola Oluwole's report is presented from our studios.
Addressing residents before planting the tree, Fashola says tree planting is a serious business that will determine the survival of the planet. He laments the short-sightedness of critics of the initiative, saying that the yearly exercise has contributed in providing jobs for the people.
Our opponents, in their flip-flop and in their lies and in their shameful inconsistency, have also vindicated me, and I will tell you why. You will recall that the Ganifa Emi Memorial Park is one of the projects of this greening and tree planting initiative. There was no park there before. But our opponents have no shame. In their unthinking inconsistency, it was at the same Ojota Park, the same Ganifa Emi Park, that they now choose to hold their party rally last week. For me, they have shown themselves up for who they are, a party that is unworthy of trust and that is lacking in consistency.
While saying that over 5 million trees have been planted since the inception of the program, the Commissioner for Environment, Tunji Bello, says cutting down trees is illegal in Lagos.
Our forest is rapidly disappearing. The encroachment of forest in land is due to the growing population and city expansion. As much as this is expected, we could not accept this trend as enough reasons to indiscriminately fell trees and destroy forests. We all must ensure that each time we cut trees, we quickly replace them with new ones so that the earth can again be replenished.
Emphasis was also placed on the need to continually involve children as agents of change in the tree planting program of the state. The event took place simultaneously across the state with the theme "Life is Better with Trees."
Find out what is the attraction for investors in diaspora bond as we bring you business with Sabina Izopo after this break.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos.
There is still a poor level of
Be the first to know.
on CoreTV News.
From the north, south, east, west and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to
Our
CoreTV.
24-hour news station.
Hello, then you're welcome to the world of business. Investors' interest is building on Nigeria's $300 million bond set to debut before the end of the year, just as the Debt Management Office DMO advances preparation for the issue. The Director General, Ibrahim Wankwo, who disclosed this, said the bond issuance has been planned for the year and the federal government is closely watching developments locally and globally before launching into the market. Wankwo indicated that, as was done for the $500 million and $1 billion Eurobond issues, Nigerian officials will again, at some point of this year, embark on a final roadshow to market the bond and the country before the instrument is floated. The diaspora bond is to enable Nigerians living abroad to reflow their earnings in form of investments and in an orderly manner into the economy. Initially conceived as a $100 million issue, was later raised to $300 million as the instance of President Goodluck Jonathan. The proceeds of the bond will be used for specific national infrastructure projects, which will facilitate further economic growth. The Bank of Industry (BOI) has so far issued loans totaling 692 million naira, even as it has resolved to explore new funding alternatives to aid the realization key mandates. The Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer (BOI), Rashid Olaoluwa, who stated this during an interview in Lagos, said the key stakeholders will continue to support with some equity injection. Olaoluwa added, the bank will explore domestic and international bond issuance and other sustainable annuity resources that may become statutorily imperative in the medium to long term. Unlike commercial banks, which disburse loans at double-digit rates, BOI ensures real sector access to funding at single-digit interest rates. In order to ensure financial inclusion among businesses, especially small and medium-scale enterprises that often find it hard to have access to loans due to poor business modeling, the BOI has initiated the Business Support Fund. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has kicked against the amendments to the requirements of the Bureau de Change operations, which may consecutively force many of the operators into liquidation. The Central Bank of Nigeria amended the new requirements for the BDC operations. The deadline for the compliance was extended to the 31st of July, while the mandatory caution deposit of 35 million naira will now attract interest at savings account rate. The president of the association, Aminu Gwadabi, says APCON appreciates the amendments and also supports the meaningful and achievable reforms in the subsector. He said that the APCON rejects the decision of the APIS banks to limit the weekly dollar sales of the BDCs that meets the new requirements by the 31st of July, which will bring back the activities of the black market operators and incidents of fake currency in circulation, which the BDCs were able to abolish. Gwadabe also recommends that the deadline for the compliance should not be less than 1 year to meet the statutory requirements for recapitalization, either by raising fresh capital or through mergers and acquisition to meet the stipulated deadline. And on the other hand, reactions continue to trail over the Central Bank of Nigerian policy over the 35 million naira capital with the interest rates.
So it's the people that have license to collect dollars. So we said we joined them to collect dollars too. So the thing was affect us, all of us. Instead of CBN government to reduce all those things, to reduce the money to come down small.
Before now 156, 157. So now 165 with the buy now. We sell now. We go sell 168 or 67. You know, every day they don't spoil. So now the thing why they talk that now. So we cannot try to pay the dollar for bank now. What's our union and the money there? So this 1.7 are the way they want for more money for 500,000. Only 500,000 and go collect for bank now. They suppose say me collect any amount that she then they pay for any amount.
I don't believe that a government will just wake up one day and give out policies that are inconsistent. The government might have some information that the operators don't really have for them to make their operations, I wouldn't say a bit difficult, but in a way to try to enhance the operations, at the same time seeing that the financial system is not being collapsed, that illegal funds are getting into the financial system. So I believe the policy from the CBN that the BDC should increase their capital, 35 million, their operations and all that. For me, it's a welcome development because I believe the government has information that the operators might not have. So it is now the duty of the government as CBN to explain to the operators the need for them to meet up the new policy and at the same time to safeguard, because CBN has a policy to safeguard the financial system. And if well, it has not been confirmed, if and if only there are issues concerning the operations of the BDC that are not in line with what the government wants to achieve financial stability, and if this is the strategy or the policy that will make it work for the financial system to be stabilized.
The Naira is expected to maintain its stability this week following the foreign portfolio investors' inflow and improving external reserves. External reserves rose by 0.2% to $38.13 billion as at July 10, 2014, from $38.06 billion as at July 8, 2014. Also, 100 billion naira, which the Debt Management Office will raise in 3 local currencies debt issues on the 16th of July 2014, will attract inflows from foreign investors. Last week, naira and the US dollar exchange rate remained relatively stable at the official market and in the bureau de change, in line with the analysts' expectations. Hence, the officials' US dollar and the naira rate closed steady at 155 naira and 73 kobo per dollar. Similarly, the forex rate was steady at the bureau de change at 166 naira per dollar. At the interbank market, the naira appreciated by 0.08%. However, the local currency weakened at the parallel market by 0.30% to 162 naira 40 kobo per dollar. In line with the analysts' expectations, the central bank extended the deadline for the compliance with the new licensing requirements for the BDC to July 31st, 2014. On the market report, equity transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The market capitalization, which opened at 14.143 trillion naira, rose to close higher at 14.176 trillion naira. The Nigerian Stock Exchange all-share appreciated by 103.21 points to close higher at 42,930.60 basis points. In all, a total of 469 million shares, valued at 6.20 billion naira, were exchanged in 5,502 deals. Report shows that Ashake Cement PLC topped the gainers chart, followed by Guarantee Trust Bank PLC, Wapco PLC, 40 Oil PLC, and Stanbic IBTC PLC. On the other hand, Guinness PLC led the losers chart, followed by Julius Berger PLC, Sepla PLC, Flour Mill PLC, and Unilever PLC. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. On business news, coming up next is sport news with Tolu Ojewumi. Please stay with us.
Our style, that's what he delivered. Usain Bolt storming, no take. Toyol with a flying lead.
Bo taking them out in the lead.
Good evening, welcome to the world of sports with me, Tolu Ojewumi. Argentine legend Diego says his compatriot Lionel Messi did not deserve the Golden Ball Award at the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Messi picked up the prize for the tournament's best player following Argentina's 1-0 defeat by Germany in the final at the Maradona Stadium. Messi scored 4 goals in the group stages, but failed to add to that tally in the knockout rounds. Maradona, who was named the best player when Argentina won the World Cup in 1986, speaking on his World Cup television program, Deserta, says Colombia playmaker James Rodriguez was the 2014 World Cup star performer. However, the former Argentina player and coach says his country's national team could be proud of their performance against Germany. In the meantime, Arturo Vidal has agreed a deal to join Manchester United as the Red Devils closing on the €40 million transfer of the Chilean. Vidal is keen to move to the Premier League, while Juventus will swoop for Tottenham's Paulinho as a replacement. And something about Manchester United. English Premier League giants Manchester United on Monday announced a 10-year kit deal with a German sportswear group, Adidas, worth £750 million after US rivals Nike walked away from the club. The sponsorship switch comes after Nike left the bargaining table last Tuesday when Adidas agreed to more than double Nike's current contract. Manchester United has reached a 10-year agreement with Adidas for a global technical sponsorship and dual-branded licensing deal for a minimum guarantee of £750 million, beginning with the 2015-2016 campaign. The club's current 13-year deal with Nike, worth £303 million, is due to end in 2015. Adidas Group Chief Executive Herbert Hania says he's excited to team up with one of the most successful and most loved football clubs. The Germans boxed in jubilation of the 4th World Cup after a nail-biting 1-0 victory against Argentina crowned them the first European team to win football's top tournament held in South America. Burly-eyed fans woke after late-night street parties, fireworks and honking motorcades across the country, with ecstatic fans singing. Bayern Munich star Mario Götze struck in the 113th minute of a gripping battle at Rio de Janeiro's Maracanã Stadium as Argentina's superstar Lionel Messi's hopes of emulating Diego Maradona ended in defeat. Newspapers hailed Super Mario Götze as the country's new football god and showered praise on the new national heroes, the first to win the title for a reunified Germany, who are due to be welcomed home Tuesday at Berlin's landmark Brandenburg Gate. A big thank you to you for watching. I'm Tolu Ojeumi. Over now to Martins Dixon for the rest of the news.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. And now outside Nigeria, Israel has continued its punishing raids on Gaza, but held off from a threatened ground incursion as the world intensified efforts to broker a truce. With Israel's campaign to halt cross-border rocket fire, the Arab League was to hold an emergency meeting to discuss moves to end the shedding of Palestinian civilians' blood and formulate a common Arab stance on the crisis. United Nations Chief Ban Ki-moon has called on Israel to scrap plans for a ground offensive, saying too many Palestinian civilians had been killed as the death toll from his punishing air campaign hits 172, with another 1,230 wounded. The Gaza-based Palestinian Center for Human Rights says more than three-quarters of the victims are civilians. Israel appeared to be holding off with media reports, saying that ministers attending a meeting of the Security Cabinet had decided against putting boots on the ground for the time being. Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Yaalon admits the operation had caused huge damage to Hamas. Meanwhile, Hamas has continued to hit back. And this is where we draw the curtain on the show tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Martins Dixon, signing off and wishing you a pleasant rest.